I know we only have a little bit of time, but so grateful to have you back on Locked On Kraken. And we also have a new women's hockey show, so we are excited to talk women's hockey. First, though, Jessica Campbell, I know you've been interviewed time and time again about making history, but let's talk about what it's like at this point in the season, just about halfway through your first season with the Seattle Kraken. Let's do a vibe check. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I guess vibe check. I mean, I think we're on our way as a team. We have our challenges, we have our highs, and we're just continuing to get better every day and work towards our goal. Obviously for me, it's been an exciting year. I've, really enjoyed just being in Seattle. The team's been great. Honestly, it's coaching. So every day is kind of, rinse, wash, repeat, and just going through it task by task. So really in the work right now, really focused on the team, focused on our goals, and trying to take it all in, seeing the fans, the reception, and the crowd every night is so special.
And I want to take you back to what was a special moment, I think, for a lot of people that were able to be here at Climate Pledge Arena. I love the story about how you picked your outfit. That was fantastic. But the crowd really embraced you for that first home game, afternoon game here at Climate Pledge Arena. What do you remember about that moment?
Yeah, obviously, very special moment for my family. All my closest friends, former teammates, all flew in from all over North America, and just to have everybody together to just experience that moment. I think it really just hit me, when the crowd started cheering, of really my role and what this means to sport and to our industry. And sometimes, and naturally and probably to be assumed, like I'm so much in my job, and you don't think about and wake up thinking of the things that, maybe were felt in that moment. Just go about my work, tie up my skates the same way every day. And so to experience the energy, the reaction, I think it hit in many ways, just the magnitude of how much this means to our sport and to the fans, and what that speaks to them, and, whatever walk of life they come from or position they're in. I think there was a little piece for everybody in that moment, and that was really special for me to get to experience.
For sure. I mean, it was special for a lot of people, myself included. You mentioned like former teammates were there. I randomly saw Gags, walking into CPA, Alyssa Gallardi. And so, I mean, you have been able to just bring so many different worlds together. You're an entrepreneur, you've played in the women's game at the senior level, of course, in the NCAA. So when you think about this moment now, the PWHL Takeover Tour 2025, right here at Climate Pledge Arena, where you call home as an assistant coach, it just seems like your worlds are converging yet again.
Yeah, honestly, you hit it there. Worlds are converging, from seeing former teammates, some best friends of mine, getting to welcome them here into what feels like my world now and my place. Obviously, it's so special because that converging and the two coming together just goes to show how far we've come. And I'm so excited. I'm so proud of the girls. I'm honestly honored to get to be part of it in this way, because I feel like I've been also trekking on towards my own goals since playing as a coach, and to get to come together now and to celebrate really how far they've come as trailblazers, continuing to stay in their mission of getting a pro league, and to get to now play in a fantastic crowd, in a community and a place that's welcoming them with open arms. For me, I think as an outsider, seeing that it's so special. It's going to continue to grow the awareness, and the great product that they put on the ice that's always been there, but now is getting the deserving attention that it's always needed.
And yesterday we got to see both Montreal and Boston skate at KCI Kraken Community Iceplex. And I think they were a little taken aback, but by what Seattle Kraken fans know to expect, which is the fans not only being at practice, but applauding like everything. They love a good save. They love a good goal. They love when you hit the ice. They clap when you leave the ice. I mean, what is it going to be like just to, as you said, be able to have women's hockey have that experience and know that it's here in Seattle? What does that say about Seattle hockey culture?
Oh, I mean, our culture here is amazing. It's so diverse. It's exciting. It's, it's full of energy, and I think we get to feel that every day and get to experience that every day. And so to see the girls get to take that in, just from even the Iceplex standpoint, it is a little piece of the massive energy that this city brings to hockey. And so honestly, it's special. And like I said before, they're worthy of it. They're worthy to see fans clapping and cheering for every move, every save, every goal. And that's part of the game. That's part of the energy and the highs of the game. And so it's another celebration of the step forward for them.
I want to get back to your role with the Seattle Kraken. Heard you recently on a podcast talking about something that you were able to unlock, a coach just being like, hey, what are you good at? Like, lean into that, make sure that that's something that you're still focusing on, sharpening the saw, so to speak. And it sounds like in an interview you recently did with Piper Shaw, and then seeing how Matty Beniers has been able to develop and find his groove, Shane Wright, of course, taking a reset. What are those conversations like? What is the work that goes into it as a coaching staff to really be able to not necessarily tell a player what that is, but help them discover it and lean into it?
Yeah, it's a process. Obviously, it starts with creating a really strong trust and meaningful communication line and relationship with the player. I think ultimately as a coach, our goal is to put the players' success and their growth and their development first, and make sure that they know that's paramount to our goal as a coach. And for me specifically, I've always been a believer in building people up before really trying to change or tweak or offer feedback. I think that as soon as they know you care about their well-being, their success, and like I said, that is the real goal, then you can start accessing the actual facts of the sport, and for specifically players, the areas of opportunity for them to grow, to be better, areas they haven't tapped into. And so that's a process that I really take pride in coaching, is getting to know the players, sitting with them, and then staying with them through that process. Like, there's times where it's on ice work, sometimes it's video work, adjustments, sometimes it's just sitting together and hearing how they're doing, how they're feeling, checking in day to day. And that cycle never really ends, but there's different times you push. And use Shane Wright as a great example. Obviously his process has been since the beginning with us in Coachella, and it's been really, really awesome to coach him and get to work with him through that cycle, and to see him now taking huge steps at the National Hockey League level towards a player that we've all believed he can be. And there's still great growth ahead of him, and I still don't think he's tapped even the player that he can be as a dominant player in this league. And so he's doing great. And Matty's, starting down that path too, again, to, I think, unlock so many more areas where he can grow. And we're starting to see that here. And I talked with him about 2025's his year, and we're starting to see it, him string games together. So it's awesome.
2025 is his year. We love hearing that for sure. I want to also talk a little bit about special teams. That was something that you were able to do at the AHL level, and that you have some responsibilities here with the Seattle Kraken at the NHL level as well. As much as we talk about player development, I'm also curious what coaching development looks like. And I've talked to Dan about that a little bit early in the season. Seems like it was still a process. You're still just trying to get the players acclimated and on board. But there was something that you said, that you call out the really good when it comes to Dan Bylsma. So what does that look like when you're interacting as a coaching staff? How are you supporting each other? Making sure you're calling out the good. And as you've said before, that gives you space to then be real when there are maybe more difficult conversations that you have to have.
Yeah, I think it's a huge piece to, well, obviously staff collaboration. We're all trying to offer insight of the areas where we see the team needs to shift, or the messaging needs to shift, or the on-ice habits, details can be adjusted. But you're also looking at what works, right? And trying to create that repeatable cycle of what we need to do to perform and prepare the same way to have success, repeated success. And so for me, I've been a huge believer in just, again, finding the areas of which we are doing well and continuing to leverage those areas, and then find the ways of which maybe this is a fly in the wall, oftentimes getting the feel for the room, the guys, the reception. And I think, specifically with Dan, I've obviously worked with him for a couple of years, so I know a lot his leadership style, his approach. So trying to kind of assess, old ways, new ways, ideas of ways of which he reaches the team in a very positive manner, and trying to keep keep, I think, just a strong support and a strong communication channel open of, hey, this, look at how we performed after this conversation. And I think that emotion, and I care about that side a lot as a coach. So just trying to be really in touch with that and vocalize it.
And then finally, we'll get you out of here. I know you've got a lot to do before the puck drop, catching up with teammates, but I've heard you talk about the language of hockey and it just being something that's so universal. Hockey players, hockey fans, hockey coaches, you say certain things and everyone's like, all right, we're locked in. So I'm curious to know, what's your favorite hockeyism? Like, do you have a favorite phrase or word that you use? And then also want to know, what's your favorite chirp? Because I hear you might be a little bit of a chirper.
Oh boy, I wonder where you get that from. Gosh, favorite ism. I don't know. I feel like that's a loaded question. There's so many ways to go. I'll have to think about it. Let's touch base on that.
All right,
we'll come. Tweet it out at you.
All right, we'll circle back. All right, and all right, chirps.
Chirps. I like to just, from a skating coach, remind the guys to bend their knees. Sometimes that's about working harder, skating faster, but it's also, early on, non-pros are learning how to bend their knees to skate fast. So sometimes it's a good chirp at them to get them, just to put them back in their place a little bit and keep them on the ground.
Get them back to basics, like dig into it. Let's go. I love it. Well, Jessica Campbell, thank you so much for your time. And I really hope you enjoyed today. And, there's so many people that are just thrilled to have you a part and to continue to see your trajectory in hockey, myself included. So thank you.
That means a lot. Thanks, Erica.